the presentation of Miss
Yes
Espinosa.
po.
What happened to you?
Ayun, yun
So
nga po.
that is the challenge
Tatlong
of
beses po ako
technology.
nag-restart ng laptop, nagka-problem po. Hindi ko po alam kung na paano yung laptop. Pasensya na po sa inyong lahat.
Okay.
Opo.
Okay, so again, so congratulations to Miss Lawat. A well done presentation, and this time, as I always mention, that you have to be have an active engagement to our speaker. O pag may active engagement, mayroong learning, di ba? So, it is your time to shine during your presentation, and not only the presenters, the reporters are doing on that activity or talk and talk in while you are just listening, and some of you are making an household chores, so it's okay. At least while you are having your office work, your kung ano man yung ating mga pinagkakabalahan dyan na multitask, no? Because I know, I believe, and I understand about the being a multitasker. Alam ko yan. But we have to learn, no? Huwag natin sayangan yung ating semester, yung ating binayad. Alam ko, nagbabayad kayo ng tuition na baliwala lang. Okay? So again, welcome to our next presenter, Miss Espinosa.
Yes
Go
po.
ahead, Miss Espinosa.
Okay, good evening everyone. Before I start my presentation, we have an opening prayer po. Please everyone, bow our head. Thank you. Heavenly Father, we come to you today in prayer, asking for your guidance and wisdom. As we begin this online class, help us to stay focused and attentive as we learn and grow together. Give us the strength to stay motivated and the courage to ask questions when needed. Amen. Okay, good evening everyone po ulit, and welcome to my presentation. Thank you for being here today. I'm Dayan Carla Espinosa. Um, I'm nervous and a little bit excited about today's topic. Today, I will be presenting, or we will tackle about the power of learning, the questioning, which is IBL or inquiry-based learning. And this is the first part of it. What do you understand in this old saying? Or what do you know about this approach? Tell me and I forget, show me and I remember, tell me and I understand. Everyone po, may nakakaalam po ba? Okay, from the word tell me, it refers to the act of providing information or teaching through verbal communication alone. Yung show me naman po means demonstrating concept or information through examples, demonstration, or visual aids. And then yung involve me po, it's emphasize the importance of actively participating or engaging in activities or experiences. The word involved could mean a lot of things, right? But in inquiry-based learning, we could this assume that we included that this essence of this approach being included. And we are going to find out how anyone would be involved in this type of approach. So, before going deeper on this topic, I want you to show you the list of the things we're going to encounter here. We'll be discussing a lot of things, as you can see, related to IBL. Lesson 7. Here are the contents. Objectives, number 1. The second, what is the inquiry-based learning? Third, models of inquiry. Fourth, the cycle of inquiry. Fifth, types of questions. Sixth, teacher's role. 7, learners or student role. 8, benefits of challenge. And 9, quotes or Bible verse. Objectives. In this lecture, you will be able to gain knowledge on what inquiry-based learning is. Get to know the different models and the cycle of inquiry. Distinguish the different types of questions. I hope you will be able to gain knowledge on what inquiry-based learning is. Get to know the different models and the cycles of inquiry, and also the types of questions. As you can see on the screen, our topic today is IBL, Inquiry-Based Learning. What is Inquiry-Based Learning? Anyone? Okay, do you have any idea what inquiry-based learning is? Or what do you think is IBL? It's defined as seeking information by questioning, and where the students encouraged to explore the material, ask questions, and share ideas. So, these are the two simplest definitions of IBL. In other words, inquiry-based learning is a form of active learning that starts by closing questions or problem and scenarios, and seeking the questions or the solution to this. It contradicts traditional education, which is generally relies on the teacher or presenting facts in their own knowledge about the subject. Naririnig po ba ako? Hello po. Hello, okay naman po?
Yes po.
Sorry po, thank you. Okay, proceed po tayo.
Okay na po.
Thank you po. Okay, on the next slide, we have the types of models of inquiry-based learning. We have confirmation inquiry. Second, the structured inquiry. Third, guided inquiry. 4, open or through inquiry. Anyone can read po number 1. Yes, Miss Leslie Joy.
Confirmation inquiry. The learner is asked a question, as well as a method whose final result is already known. The goal is to validate the results. It allows learners to strengthen already established ideas and practice the research skills.
Thank you po, Miss Leslie Joy. Confirmation inquiry, although the teacher prepares the question and resources, the students are giving liberty, choose which questions they would like to study and which resources they want to use in studying in that question. So we can still see some control from the teacher here. In this model, the teacher holds significant control over the inquiry process. The focus is on confirming existing knowledge or theories. The teacher provides specific questions and guides students toward predetermined outcomes. Next is, structured inquiry. Anyone can read po. Yes po, Miss Jasmine. Thank you.
Structured inquiry. The student investigates the teacher presented question through a prescribed procedure and receive explicit step-by-step guidelines at each stage, leading to a predetermined outcome, similar to following a recipe.
Thank you po. Sa structured inquiry po, this model is perfect for teacher. New to inquiry since the instructed is mostly controlled by the teacher from the essential question to the performance task. So in this model, the students mainly follow the lead of the teacher. The teacher will place a guiding role in structured inquiry but allows more flexibility than confirmation inquiry. Next po, we have guided inquiry. So, anyone can read po. Miss Angel, thank you po.
Guided inquiry. Teachers help students use their own for constructing knowledge by active listening and questioning while exploring and investigating a problem. Teachers guide students to talk through their thinking, which supports development of students' mathematical reasoning skills.
Thank you, Miss Angel. Sa guided inquiry po, the teachers give more choices to the students. So, in addition to other students, can now choose how they want. They can choose the question, they can choose resources, they can choose what they want to present their learning or their output. So far, in the 3 models we finished, it was on the teacher how to create essential questions, find resources, and express how the student should their showcase of their learning. The last one, wait lang po Okay, we have open through inquiry. Anyone can read po? Miss Crystal Jane.
Open through inquiry. In open inquiry, the most complex level of inquiry-based learning, teachers define the knowledge framework in which the inquiry will be conducted, but allows the students to select a wide variety of inquiry questions and approaches.
Thank you po. Sa open inquiry, we can call this po free inquiry din. So, however, in the open free inquiry, the student collect and design everything. It's free inquiry. So, they are given totally free. So, what the teacher do? The teacher now serve as facilitator and the students the master of their learning. So, we can now see how much of the process instructed for the learners. Explanation lang po, comparing how the different models are in terms of the control or influence of the teacher and the students of the learners. Instructed, there is no student controlled at all, but then in the free inquiry, it's totally free inquiry, so the choices are given to the student. They want to choose from themselves. So the control of the teacher is the process from the question until they present their output was gradually given to the student, relinquished. Okay, so far we finished the 4 models of inquiry. Let's move to the next cycle. Let's move to the cycle of inquiry. The cycle of inquiry. Why do we call it the cycle anyway? Anyone? What is the definition of cycle po? May nakakaalam po? Okay, okay, the cycle means in the circle, it rounds and rounds, it's never ending. So, why do we call it the cycle of inquiry? Because a question could be lead to another questions, right? It's never ending process. The term cycle of inquiry is used because it represents the continuous and iterative process of investigation and reflection in both educational and inquiry-based learning contexts. This cycle involves a series of interconnected steps that individuals follow to explore, analyze, and understand a topic or a problem. The word cycle signifies that this process is ongoing and repeat itself, emphasizing the idea of continuous improvement and learning. Moreover, inquiry highlights the active and questioning nature of process, where individuals engage in asking questions, seeking answer, and reflecting on their findings. Overall, the term of cycle of inquiry encapsulates the systematic and dynamic nature of the learning and investigate process. We have as our problem statement: investigate or data collection, create, organize, discuss, analyze, and reflect implication of conclusion. As problem statements, anyone can read po? Yes po, Miss Jasmine.
Product statements begin with students' curiosity about the world, ideally with their own questions. The teacher can stimulate the curiosity of the student by giving an introduction talk related to the concepts that have to be acquired.
Thank you po. Sa as and problem statement po, the construction of a question or set of a question is beginning of the cycle depending on the type of inquiry of the model. The question can come from the teacher or from the learners. Next, investigate or data collection. Miss Leslie Joy po. Nakamute po ata kayo. Miss Leslie Joy.
Sorry.
Ay, okay po.
Investigate data collection. As naturally leads to investigate, which should explore initial curiosity and lead to seek and create information. Students or groups of students collect information, study, collect, and exploit resources, experiment, look, interview, draw. They already can redefine the question, make it clearer
or take another direction.
Thank you po, Ms. Leslie Joy. Sa investigation or data collection po, once question is decided, learners are encouraged to investigate the topic by looking into information which could be provided and chosen by the teachers or decided on by the learners themselves. Again, depending on a model of inquiry. Okay, what is the step 3? Wait. Create or organize. Anyone can read po. Napagod na po ba kayo? Thank you po, Miss Angel.
Create or organize. Collected information begins to merge. Students start making links. Here, ability to synthesize meaning is the spark which creates new knowledge. Students may generate new thoughts, ideas, and theories that are not directly inspired by their own experience. They write them down in some kind of report.
Okay, sa create or organize po, after enough information is covered, is organized or outlined, so that's the third step. This allows the learners to filter the information which are helpful in solving problem. That is create step. That means they're going to start formulating answer to questions after they investigate it. So we are down 3 steps already. Step 1 is ask, step 2 is investigate, step 3 is create or organize. Then next information gathered is then discuss, analyze. That's the 4 steps. This stage involves open conversation and exchange of ideas about the problem or issue at hand. Participants share their perspective, experiences, and suggestions. It is discussed in analyze for the filtering. After the information covered, they're going to discuss, analyze, and filter those information. The teacher can direct discussion and highlights the implication that arise from from the investigation and show how it relates the solution of the problem. And that's okay if it is structured and controlled inquiry, so the teacher will be helping them. Reflect or implication conclusion. This stage involves looking back at the action taken, the result achieved, and process as the whole participant consider the work well, what didn't, and why. The last step of the 5th cycle is reflect or conclusion. The conclusions are then made to original questions. Conclusions means the answer solution to the questionnaire problems. Furthermore, the student reflection is encouraged to retrace and analyze their step while answering the post question. So this also serves as reinforcement for them to internalize the process. Okay, so those are the steps in the cycle of inquiry. With our next topic, the next one is type of question, and we need to have an idea about this thing because it is a part of our main topic, the inquiry-based approach to learning. So, how many types of questions do you think are there? The major types or important types of question. Hula lang po. Anyone? Okay, wala po. Sige po. Okay, we have the 8 types of question. Close-ended question, open-ended question, probing question, leading question, loaded question, funnel question, recall and process question, rhetorical question. Okay, are you familiar with any types of this question po? Okay, we have closed question, also known as follower questions. Generally, it invites one word answer yes or no. Could also include answer to functional or multiple questions. Functional means that the answer is fact. Close-ended questions in inquiry-based learning are often used to establish a foundation of knowledge to check for understanding. Here are the few examples. Is the earth round? Does photosynthesis occur in plants? Is Paris capital of the France? Ayan po yung mga few examples niya. Meron din pong for example po, kunyari po, is the earth around? These questions has definitive answer and could be used in a lesson about geography or space. Yung number 2 po, again, this question has a clear answer, yes, and could be part of biology lesson. Sorry. Is Paris the capital of France? This is a factual question that can be used to establish basic knowledge in geography lessons. Open questions. Anyone can read po. Miss Jasmine po.
Open questions or open-ended questions are a key component of inquiry-based learning as they encourage critical thinking, creativity, and exploration.
Thank you po. Sa open questions, second, so these questions po, which is the opposite of the first one, closed questions. So require a little more through and generally encourage wider discussion and elaboration. It's open. Can be answered with a simple yes or no response. Because as it says, there is a requires elaboration and discussion by contrast to closed questions. Open questions allows much longer responses and therefore potentially more creativity and information. Probing questions. Probing questions are designed to encourage students to think deeply, provide details, explanation, and support their ideas with evidence. Sa probing questions, these questions are useful for gaining clarification and encouraging and others to tell you more information about the subject. You probe. You can give several questions so you can gain or you can gather more information. Here are some examples. Can you explain the step you look to solve the problem? What was the reasoning behind each step? So, it is useful po for seeing the bigger picture, encouraging a speaker to tell you more information and also avoiding misunderstanding because you ask more questions so things are clear. Next, we have leading questions. Leading questions are designed to guide students towards a particular line of thinking to prompt them to consider a specific aspect of a topic. While they can be useful in certain contexts, it is important to use them judiciously to avoid influencing student thinking too heavily. The fourth type, we have leading question. It is designed to lead the respondent toward a certain design, positive or negative route, and sometimes can be coercive. Coercive means it's force. However, be careful in using this type of question since it may seem that you are leading them to say what you wanted to hear. Anyway, these questions are good for building positive discussion. Closing a sale, if you are a salesperson, you can use this more often. Loaded question. Anyone can read po. Joey, thank you po. Joey Necesario po.
Loaded question. Ang designed to influence or manipulate student thinking by incorporating conceptual or bias into the construction.
Thank you po. Sa loaded question, anyway, why do we call it loaded? Is there something in this question? Anyone po na makakapag-ano? Okay, loaded are seemingly straightforward. Closed questions, straightforward with a twist. They contain an assumption about the respondent or those answering the question. These questions are quite rightly seen as manipulative, or of course because there is an assumption about that person responding. Who uses this type of questions are famously used by the lawyers and journalists to trick their interviewee into admitting into something that they do not confess in a normal situation. That's bad. So if you watch some perhaps lawyers dramas or journalist interviews, perhaps you could see some example of these questions. For example, don't you agree that recycling is the most effective solution to environmental issues? Isn't obvious that technology has made our lives better in every way? Yun po yung mga examples nun. Next. Final question. Anyone can read po. Crystal Jane po.
Final question. Or a questioning technique that starts with broad, open-ended question and gradually narrows down to more specific details. It can be used in inquiry-based learning to guide students through a thought process and help them explore a topic in a structured manner.
Final question helps students gradually explore a topic, starting with a broad understanding and then driving into more specific details. This approach allows for structured and focused exploration of the subject matter in inquiry-based learning. So this question is useful for building relationships since you can ask several questions and also in discovering specific information and stopping argument. Next is recall and process question. Are two types of questions that can be used in inquiry-based learning to assess students' understanding and engage them in the thinking process. Dito po sa recall and process, these questions, students to explain the process of writing in persuasive essay. Recall questions assess students' ability to remember specific information, while process questions engage students in thinking about the step, procedure, or strategies involved in particular concept or task. The last one is power of rhetorical questions. Anyone can read po. Miss Leslie Joy po, sorry. Ay, Rona na lang po si Miss Rona Jane, sorry.
Rhetorical questions are to make a point. Students don't acknowledge critical thinking.
Okay na po. Sa rhetorical po, don't really require an answer or it may have an obvious answer or cannot be answered at all. So these are statement, phrase, or question to make the conversation or more engaging for the listeners. In other words, someone asks this type of question without expecting an answer because the question might not have an answer or it might have an obvious answer. For example po, is rain wet? Can the dogs bark? For example pa din po, what is the meaning of life? Can you answer that question? Yung mga ganun po yung yung mga question niya. Okay, yung yung power of rhetorical question po, the question is better used when persuading people in building engagement. Let's move to the next topic, facilitators and learners' role in inquiry-based classroom. Facilitators' role, reflect on the purpose and make plans of inquiry learning, facilitate classroom learning, serve primarily as a resource for the student, guide the students through the learning process, establish parameters for learning objectives and that allow students to direct their own learnings, a co-learner which the students are engaged with real-world questions, provoke additional inquiry of the questions presented to the student. Doon po sa reflect on the purpose of make plans of inquiry learning, anyone po na what does facilitate mean? May nakakaalam po ba? Yes po, Miss Leslie Joy.
I think facilitate thing po is to assist.
Yes.
To assist students.
Yes po, thank you po. Tama po yun. The teacher as a facilitator, it means assist po. So, the teacher as an assistant to an inquiry-based classroom, that is the first thing that we're going to look at. Yung facilitate classroom learning, wait lang. Reflect. Of course, after setting the goals and steps to be done during the inquiry activity, the next thing to do is to make it happen. Facilitate classroom learning. That is the next role of a teacher in an inquiry-based classroom. And the third is to primarily as a resource pool of the students. Well, not really the only resource, but the main resource the teacher should see to it that he or she is available to help out the students with any snags or problems during the activity. And then also the guide the students through the learning process. I think this is a given. Like the third role one of the teacher's responsibility is to dare every step of the way of the student. We don't need an absentee teacher in an inquiry-based classroom. Next role, establish parameters for learning objectives and then allow students to direct their our learnings. What are the parameters po? Anyone po? What does it mean by parameters? Or in other words po, it also the teacher's role as facilitator to set rules parameters or set rules following the objectives. And trust the learners to be able to follow the rules and do their task properly. That setting parameter isn't allowing their allowing their learners to go to about their own learning. A co-learner with the student that they are engaged with the real world question. A co-learner sounds strange, but because the teacher is the one who expected to be more knowledgeable about the stuff or about some stuff compared to the learners. But to why co-learners? It's an inquiry-based classroom. Everybody, including the teacher, is expected to participate in the process. It might be little pretentious since the teacher is supposed to be familiar with the steps, perhaps the information or content. Number 7, the last one po, provoke the additional inquiry of the question presented by students. The last role of the student as facilitator is to persuade more the student's idea when they present their work to him or her. So remember, it's an inquiry, so perhaps everything will be inquired upon, will be questioned up, because this is what did you call this? A nature of the approach. So as we can see, the teacher as facilitator, her or his role is to be able to set up the inquiry learning and guide the learners through the process of the task. Moving to the learner's role. Malapit na po, bear with me po. Learner's role, view themselves as learners in the process of learning, raise question, propose explanation, and use observation, plan and carry out learning activities, communicate using variety of methods, critique their learning practices, direct their own learning within the parameters set by facilitator, work in a group and learn from each other. Papaikliin ko na lang po. Yung dito po, the learners in the process, we can see that there is more to being a learner in an inquiry-based classroom. In inquiry-based classroom, learners are not just puppets who follow the process. They should also be able to think on their own, albeit following established process. However, they are given freedom to explore the question in the resources, but they also follow the rules set for the activity. So they shouldn't do as they please. They should have also boundaries. What are the benefits of based learning, inquiry-based learning? Reinforcement curriculum, content, warm-up, and brain to learning, helps make learning rewarding, builds initiative and self-direction, works in almost any classroom. And what are the challenges of the IBL or inquiry-based learning? Time-consuming, messy, loud, chaotic, and unpredictable. Um, Yun po, sa time-consuming, well, to the nature of this approach, I would think you cannot avoid spending much time on some parts, such as we allow them to choose questions and resources that could take time. For example po, decision making, it's also in organizing their what ano yun, information, and also sometimes seeking for an answer to make long time. Uh, Conclusion, teaching and learning based on the inquiry method is an approach that helps students build their knowledge and understanding through research and exploration activities based on existing knowledge. That inquiry method requires higher order thinking skills and critical thinking to make conclusion. Bible verse, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. Ito po, yung strength po, the verse speak of Christ providing strength. In the context of education, this can be interpreted as gaining strength to face academic challenges, just as one believes Christ provides strength to overcome life's obstacles. That same belief can be applied to academic hurdles. Ayun po. Thank you po. Thank you for listening po, classmates. Dr. Livina Barros. Good evening po.
Ayan. So, congratulations, Miss.
Thank you po.
Okay, it's all about the IBL. So, it's inquiry-based learning. So, it is one of the strategy in our teaching and learning process on how are we going to get the 100% engagement. So, when we say IBL, it is inquiry-based learning. So, it is an orthodox methods. So, it is a strategy of learning which incorporates active participation of students. So, very good kayong lahat ngayon kasi nagpa-participate kayo even in our virtual classes. Kasi we are just practicing kung ano magiging teacher tayo, kung class teacher tayo sa atin. So, ayan. Congratulations to everyone and keep up the good work. Sana lagi tayong kumbaga, we are not just learning but we are also enjoying. This is what we call the active engagement. And going back about the IBL or inquiry-based learning, so yung pinaka-ano dito is inquire. The root word is inquire. We have to let our students to inquire to ask questions regarding the topic that we are presenting. So kung wala pong nagtatanong, sasabihin ng mga, any questions? Natural, hindi ano sasabihin ang mga estudyante. Tahimik lang yan. But after you instruct them, okay, there's no question, let's have a quiz. So doon na sila magtatanungan. Okay? So do not tawag dito yung maging kampante na porket hindi lang sila sumagot ng no questions, iisipin mo na lahat na intindihan ka na ng mga estudyante mo. Hindi yun. So, ayan. So, we should have an inquiry-based learning. So, yun yung ating magiging as effective teacher. Because we let our students to ask this question. We encourage them to know some solution na wala po sa ating mga itinuro. Like for example, in teaching mathematics, mayroon pong iba't ibang questions at sagot doon wherein there are different solution that we can have a solution to that certain problem. So it's better to ask question now how to think or how. These are the WS question or the HATS question, the higher order thinking skills of us asking student. Huwag laging what, kailan, saan. So, through inquiry base, we are training our student to ask yung matataas na level ng tanong. Hindi yung magtatanong yung estudyante, alam naman pala nila yung sagot. So, dapat ang itanong natin sa mga bata ay how and kumbaga yung you're going to give them instances na if ever, like for example, the values, kung kayo ang tatanungin, ano yung magiging scenario, yung magiging scenario, like for example that. So that is an example of inquiry-based learning. So it is the process that engages student by making real-world connection. Yung real world talaga, yung totoo nilang nararamdaman. Kasi yung mga estudyante natin, talagang normal talaga ang panatanong. So as teacher, huwag kayong mapapagod, huwag kayong mainis kung ang mga estudyante ay panatanong. Ibig sabihin, may natutuhan sila and they are interested to know more about the topic that you are being discussed. And I am encouraging you to practice the high level questioning. Ano ba yung mga high level? Yung how, why, pero yung mga what, yung mga yung ano lang yan, kumbaga, that is motivational questions. And then, you have to insert the higher level skills ng we're going to get the tawag dito, the cognitive aspect or the cognitive aspect of our students. So, yung kumbaga, bibigyan nyo sila ng scenario na kung kayo sa kalagayan ni ganito, ano kayang gagawin nyo? O like mga ganong example. And in real world scenario yung talaga na tayo. And through inquiry-based learning, student will love, kumbaga involved sila na ay binibigyan ako ng time ni teacher, sinasagot niya yung tanong ko. Ibig sabihin, you give attention to your students. Kasi kapag may estudyanteng nagtanong at hindi nyo pinansin, maybe hindi na siya magtatanong ulit, no? Madadala yung ating mga estudyante na magtanong kasi natatakot na sila sa atin. So, this is from a teacher point of view that inquiry-based teaching focuses on moving students beyond general curiosity about being curious. Ganun talaga ang nature ng ating mga students. Kailangan maging curious at sikapin natin sila yung magtanong na may kabuluhan. Minsan kasi may mga estudyante magtatanong, wala namang kwenta ang tinatanong mo. So we have to consider that, we have to encourage them na pag nagtatanong, yun talagang malalim ang kahulugan ng kanilang tinatanong. Sometimes, may mga estudyante tayo nagtatanong, just mapansin lang gusto lang magtanong kasi gusto lang magsalita, okay? So it's all about the inquiry-based learning. And before we end, congratulations to Miss Diane Espinosa and Miss Ingrid Dawag for a very nice presentation.
Thank you
So
po.
next meeting, we'll have at least 2 presenter every meeting, okay? So, please open your cam before we end our class. Open your cam and smile. Ayan. So, good luck next time sa ating mga next presenter. Okay na ba lahat? Nakapag-open na ba lahat ng camera? Chloe, parang mata lang yung nakikita ko. Ipakita yung mukha, parang may familiar ako sa inyo. Yan. Ang nakikita ko agad dito, ba't kayo nahihiya? Virtual na nga lang tayo nakikita eh. Hindi tayo nakikita ng personal. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Again. Again. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay. So, may nag-screenshot din ba? With that, congratulations. Goodbye everyone. See you next Monday.
Thank you po.
Bye.
Bye po, thank you.